Meanwhile, remember when Ron Paul said that giving $1 billion to Ukraine is like throwing money down a black hole? Well, he found someone who agrees with him, Ukraine's former president, Viktor Yanukovych. Oh, sure, this Yanukovych guy has a different agenda. He's very cozy with Putin. But think about what he's saying here, because this sounds like a lot like Egypt to me, that this money will end up going into the wrong hands, or in his case, he's saying into bandits' hands, trying to take advantage of a crisis, not the Ukrainian people suffering from that crisis. Again, I know he has an axe to grind, but do we really want to throw money in the middle of all of this, just like we did in Egypt, just like we did in countless other uprisings? Well, that was the kind of stuff that Ron Paul was getting into the last time he was here. He's back with us now. Congressman, that was your point, right? Be careful, because you don't know who's on first.
Absolutely, and you don't have to be a genius to be concerned or predict these things, because that's a general rule. You know, if you send money off to some group and you take it rather readily from the American taxpayer, you know, it goes into special interests, whether there's special interests at home or if you send it overseas, it goes to special interests as well. So right now they're figuring out how they're going to handle this bankruptcy of Ukraine, and they need a lot of money, but there's a lot of people that are owed money, including many, many banks. So somebody's going to have some benefit, but believe me, it won't be the people of the United States, and it won't be the common people of Ukraine. They will continue to suffer. So the principle is wrong, and that's my big beef about this whole process.
And as you astutely pointed out, it was the same thing that got us tied up in Egypt. We didn't know who to give money to, and the group that we thought was on our side or with us or going to do some good turned out to be just as dictatorial and back and forth. You could go to Syria, you could go to Libya. So your prescription for all of these type crises is what?
Is to stop getting involved in all of them, because they never benefit us. You know, we already, Victoria Nuland, the Undersecretary of State, has admitted that we have already, through the NGOs, put in $5 billion undermining the government of Ukraine. So, yes, we don't need to stop now. We needed to stop years ago. We need to challenge the principle of why we get involved like this, because there's never any benefit from it. And pretty soon we will run out of money. You know, they made a big deal of the vote last week on opening up the loan guarantee to Ukraine for $1 billion.
Right.
Well, they don't even mention in that bill $1 billion. They just get the access to this loan guarantee program, so it could be many, many more. And I'll tell you what, there's only one thing about a loan guarantee. It's guaranteed never to be repaid. I think that's a pretty sure thing, and that will happen here. You give money to the government of Ukraine right now, and they pay some bills. Maybe they will even send some money to Russia.
You raise a good point, because what guarantee do we have? Because Russia is demanding $1 billion payment for gas and energy, that sort of thing. So let's just stop this, and since we can't really police this, from the money that we give them to give to Russia.
Right. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's strange that we've accepted this for years, that the politicians fall into this, but they're gullible. They listen to the propaganda. They have a misunderstanding of economics. They think it's the best thing to do. One of the most seductive things in Washington is that even those that I worked with in Washington, where we tried to avoid, the military confrontation, they were so often ready to use these financial things, freezing of assets,
right,
sanctions, and send over more money. And unfortunately, the two policies that we've offered is, well, if you do what we say and you be a good dictator, we're going to give you a lot of money. If you don't, we're liable to attack you and send you a drone missile as a present. Instead of taking the advice that we were given a long time ago, that we should stay out of the internal affairs of other nations and trade with them and have peaceful relations. And that's the only thing going for us right now, is there is trade between Russia and Europe. There's trade between us and Russia. There's trade between us and China, and that helps. But believe me, these people who are interfering now are liable to mess all that up and undo some of the progress that we've made.
Congressman, thank you very, very much. Always good having you on.
Thank you, Neil.